After the longest regular season in the history of the league, the race to the WNBA Finals begins in earnest. In a matter of 30 minutes, as we welcome you to WNBA Hoop Streams presented by Google alongside the great Ari Chambers. I am Sam Ravech. Ari, you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. It's playoff time,
it's
baby!
It's playoff time. Let's go. We've got a full slate of 4 games, 8 teams, of course, vying for that elusive title. And who are some of those teams? Well, you've got the New York Liberty, the defending champs, but this time they're going to try to do it as a 5 seed, right? Oof. The 1 seed, the Minnesota Lynx, lost to the Liberty in 5 games in the WNBA Finals last year. Oh, by the way, the WNBA Finals goes to 7 games this year. That's also something to keep an eye on as we go down the stretch.
So much basketball.
Oh, and have we forgotten about the Las Vegas Aces, who have won only 16 games in a row?
We literally can never forget about the Las Vegas Aces. How can you? The momentum is crazy. The vibes are high going into the playoffs.
They really are, and the storylines are high as well. So let's get right into it. To tip off our playoff preview show, we figured let's give you our top 4 bold predictions before we take a deeper look into each matchup. And we will do that. All right, let's start with you. Give me your bold prediction for the 1 versus the 8 matchup. That's Minnesota versus Golden State.
I mean, can you do a bold prediction for somebody like a 1-8 matchup? It's very difficult.
We can
especially
try.
A 1-8 matchup with Minnesota Lynx having a 6-game lead ahead of everybody else. They've been so dominant this year. But the Golden State Valkyries have nothing to lose. And Natalie Nakase is known for being a defensive coach. So I think her defensive strategy might be something outrageous, something we haven't seen before, because they literally have nothing to lose. They're the 3rd best defensive team as it stands. The Lynx are the 1st best defensive team, or the best in the league defensive team. So I think my bold prediction is that the Valkyries are going to be able to hold the Lynx to lower than their season.
That's bold. I think that's bold because nobody really has been able to do that, at least consistently. So I will take that as an acceptable bold prediction.
Yeah, I mean, they have so much offense, right? You have Courtney Williams, who's one of the best mid-range shooters, who is now assumed the point guard position and increased her range. You have Nafisa Collier, who's having an MVP type of season, and it just it didn't matter injury or not, she's gonna pull. You have Dejanay Carrington, who's playing great defense that opens up a Kayla McBride. There's so many threats. So hey, Valks, throw whatever defense. That's my bold prediction. They're going to have some crazy defensive strategies.
Fair enough. We will get a lot more into this matchup as well as many others later on in our show. All right, I'll take Phoenix versus New York. This is the 4 versus the 5 matchup. Keep in mind that the Phoenix Mercury got the better of New York 3 out of the 4 matchups during the regular season. The defending champs, I think, are going to want to come out on fire in this one. They're not going to want to let up. They're going to want to assert their dominance early and often. Not only do I think that New York is going to win the game tonight, Ari, I'm going to predict them to win on Wednesday at Barclays for a clean sweep over Phoenix this year. That's my bold prediction.
You know, I don't disagree with that. Liberty is finally fully healthy with their roster for the first time ever, and a healthy roster with the addition of Emma Mieseman. It's just beautiful how they've been making these in-season moves and just making a good team even better. We have not had the privilege to be able to be fans of this perfectly constructed team, really. And so when you're matching up against Phoenix, Sandy Brondello can throw the biggest threats, and we're forgetting that Sandy comes from Phoenix in general. She was Phoenix's head coach. They have not won a playoff series since Sandy Brondello left.
That's a great point.
So the bold prediction, is it bold? I don't know. I mean, they're the lower seed, but the 4-5 matchup in general is just a very precarious one. It's one that is so intense and has the most room for, the upset, if you can call it an upset. It's like a slight edge. But New York Liberty shouldn't have been in this position in general. I would argue that the bold prediction in the beginning of the season would be that they're the 5 matchup. Now they're stuck at 5, having to deal with a Phoenix Mercury team who's under the guidance of Alyssa Thomas, who is a triple-double machine who makes everybody around her better, and then Satu Sabli, who can go off at any given time. I don't know. Sam, there's so many things.
There are so many things, so many great storylines, too, like you said, with Sandy and the connections there. They're pretty much great connections in every single matchup. Hot potato, right back to you, Ari. Number 2, Las Vegas versus number 7, Seattle. Bold prediction here.
Okay. I know we have Nneka Ogwumike on this team. I know that they have Skylar Diggins on this team, but Erica Wheeler is going to be their X factor. She excels in stepping up in big moments, literally scoring 11 of her 17 points in the 4th quarter to help them secure the spot in the playoffs. So Erica Wheeler really does the things that needs to be done for her team. So, yeah, that's what I have.
Jewel Lloyd, obviously, going to continue to kind of find her role, I think, in this matchup as well as she has down the stretch of the season. So this one's at 10 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to go to number 3 Atlanta.
Okay, what you got, Sam? You know I'm protective about them.
Indiana. Have to go all the way back to July 11th. Shockingly, that's the last time that these two teams matched up. And a lot has changed since then, namely Caitlin Clark and 4 of her best friends, a.k.a. her teammates, are no longer able to play because they suffered season-ending injuries, unfortunately, this year. I really like this Atlanta team, too. Ari, I know you do as well. Carl Smesko has infused an identity that has been lacking kind of in this franchise for a little bit of time. My bold prediction is that Atlanta will win the series, but Indiana will force it to go 3, which I think, considering the lack of depth for Stephanie White's squad, I think that is a bold prediction for this to go 3.
It is, but and. So both conjunctions here. Indiana they can throw anything at you. When you're at playoffs, you are going to want to prepare. And I know we're gonna talk about this later, but playoffs, you need to prep for the team, right? With Indiana having a rotating cast of players due to injury and other circumstances, it's really hard to prepare for them. So I do have Atlanta winning this, but I don't think Indiana is going to lay down at all.
Okay.
At all.
Very good. Very good. And their coach obviously will not let them. No. Like that is not
Stephanie
even.
White doesn't play about her.
Not really an option when Stephanie White's your head coach. All right, now let's take a deeper look into each one of these matchups. We'll talk about who was under the most pressure, as well as some of the key components to success for all of the matchups here. I'll get us started here. We'll kind of flip-flop. We'll go right back to the 1 versus the 8 seed in Minnesota and Golden State. Obviously, Golden State, the first expansion team to make the playoffs in their very first season. This has been a great story, but it is so much more than a story, as you well know, Ari. They are not just here and happy to be here. They want to win games. So if I'm Cheryl Reeve, and far be it from me to give Cheryl Reeve any sort of coaching advice, but I'm sure this has already been a message to her team. Hey, we can't kind of sleepwalk through this game. The Valkyries are a legit team. Seeds aside, you can throw those out the window once we get to this point in the season. So stay focused in the moment, because this Golden State team, Ari, really has nothing to lose.
I don't think that they're going to have a reminder of staying focused.
Okay.
The game that they could have thrown very easily as the last game of the season, when you have that much of padding, they ended in a dominant fashion. This was a 72-53 win for them over the Valkyries, who they will be facing going into it. Now, like I was saying earlier, my fear for them is, how do you prep for a Valkyries team who has nothing to lose? You have all the pressure as somebody who went to the very, very end in the finals last year, but you're facing a Valkyries team who exceeded expectations, so now they can throw anything your way. I don't know. The Minnesota Lynx have the most pressure, obviously, but Nafisa Collier said, we do not want to be in a situation where the refs determine the game. They know what that feels like, because last season they're still PTSDing.
Yep.
Kayla McBride still cannot enter Barclays without having that fear. But it's a next play mentality. They're focused on this game. They're very well coached. Cheryl Reeve is their X factor, period. She is one of the best coaches the women's game has ever seen. She knows how to strategize for this moment. This is a franchise that is a dynasty franchise. So she's going to tell her team, we have to take this game by game. We cannot sleep on any team like this. We have to stay within our identity as the best defensive team in the league, the best offensive team in the league. We have to regain momentum and know who we are. Know who we are.
Yeah, have that identity that's carried them all the way to this point, and that has gotten them so much success. All right, moving along here, number 4, Mercury. Number 5, Liberty. Who was under the most pressure in this series, Ari?
The most pressure is the Liberty, because they have a situation where they do not have home court advantage. And that's really unfortunate, especially by the way that they started the season. I couldn't have predicted that the Liberty would drop down to 5, but they're going to have to face a Phoenix Mercury team that has just been very strong and consistent, but they are in full health. So they're going to be able to showcase exactly what they wanted to do within the front office of putting the pieces together, whether that's a fiery point guard in Natasha Cloud, whether that's Sabrina, who has really known how to get bursts and just really be the anchor of the team. The bigs, JJ, Jonquel Jones, one of the most dominant bigs in this game. They have Brianna Stewart, just her length alone. There's so many different factors for the Liberty, but they have more pressure right now because they're having to operate in deficit. They have to win on the road in order to win the series.
I think it's a great point. The health has been a problem for this team this year. There's really 2 reasons why New York is in this spot as a 5 seed. It's the injuries, which they can't control. The inconsistency has been something that they can control. However, because of the injuries, you haven't really been able to be consistent all year long.
Exactly.
So, like, that does play a part in this.
Like, and international play, Sam, right?
100%.
We can't
yes.
overlook the fact that they have a lot of European players on their team. And so when you lose those players, it's hard to maintain chemistry within the playing time, especially when you have players in and out for injuries. So, yeah, it's just the pieces coming together. But we get to see the full roster of New York.
And I do think because they did win it all last year, there is inherent pressure to, hey, do it again.
You're the big guy that people
right?
want to take down.
Do it again, right? Exactly. So they also did finish 500 down the stretch of the season, going 5-5 of the last 10 games. So the windows in professional sports to win now are always so small. New York is in their window right now, and I think they could still repeat and win it again. All right, I will take the Aces and the Storm. Who's under the most pressure here? Crazy to think that the last time that these two teams met, Ari, they had the same exact record. They were both 16-14. How things can change quickly. Vegas is under more pressure to win this series, not only because they beat the Storm last year in the first round of the playoffs, but also this just has a team of destiny feel to me. Tell me I'm wrong, Ari, if you win 16 games in a row to end the season.
Hear me out. As far as pressure, I think you're a little wrong here.
Okay.
Storm are in a win now mentality, right? They have the likes of Skylar Diggins, Nneka Ogwumike. They acquired Erica Wheeler mid-season, acquiring Brittany Sykes. That is not a we prepare for the future type of move. They want to win now. And Skylar said at the beginning of the season, this is the best team that I've played on. Well, they have to back that. Yes, the Aces are a known franchise to be, finals and actual title holders. But the Storm have got to dig themselves out of this hole, and they have to do it in an urgent way. So I'm thinking that this pressure might be on the Storm because people expected them to be so good.
Right.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, they have left a lot to be desired throughout the course of the season as far as their play, I think. So now it's kind of a prove-it time against one of the league's best.
Well, I know we're going to see how they're going to prove it based on how Skylar does her hair. It's like, are we getting the slick back Skylar? Are we getting the messy, business, I'm not playing with the world Skylar?
Right, yeah.
.
It's all business this time of year. All right, Atlanta and Indiana, Ari, who is under the most pressure? There's a lot of pressure on both sides, I think, in this one.
I don't think that Indiana has pressure simply because they have gone through 17 players on a 12-player roster. They had 15 in the final team photo because of injuries. Atlanta, you have the roster. You have remained in the top 3 pretty much this entire season, even though people don't acknowledge it as much as they should. They absolutely should regard Atlanta as one of the great teams of the season. But this is the roster to do it. This is the roster to take you to the finals. We've been preaching it since day one. You have Jordan Canada, Ryan Howard, Alicia Gray, and Naz Hillman, who has a great case for most improved player and 6th woman of the year. You have all these all-stars, Brianna Jones, BG coming off the bench. There are too many factors for you to lay down on a first round on an injury-plagued team. Atlanta has to step up and has to get past this first round. That is the pressure that is placed on them.
I say that there's pressure on both sides because neither one of these franchises has won a playoff series in nearly a decade. The last series win for Atlanta came back in 2016. Indiana's was in 2015 in the conference finals, and their coach that year was their coach now, Stephanie White. So maybe a little bit something there. Also, for what it's worth, the last 3 Commissioners' Cup champions went to make the finals. So there is maybe a little bit of pressure there. I don't know. But we'll see. That's kind of the pressure index here. We're going to dive more.
I love a trend.
We're going to dive more deep into these matchups in just a bit. But it's time now to take a look at what fans are searching for, presented by Google. Our researchers for WNBA playoff brackets spiked 750% in the U.S. over the last week. Who you riding with in this playoff season, Ari? Who you riding with?
It's not abundantly clear. I'm really bought into the Atlanta Dream agenda simply because I think that they have been overlooked all season long. When you have one of the best pure talents in the league in Ryan Howard, when you have an Alicia Gray who can really just a bucket and has really bought into Carl Smesco's offense to be that bucket, when you have a Brianna Jones all-star big, when you have a Jordan Canada who can just go off on any given time, when you have a Naz Hillman who has improved the way she has and is the vocal leader of this team, that's set up to success. You literally have all the pieces. Atlanta Dream, I'm rocking with you. I'm seeing how you're gonna end up in the bracket. That's what I'm Google searching.
I think yours is more interesting. I'm going maybe with the easy way out. I'm going to take Minnesota.
Never choose easy, Sam. Never choose easy.
Well, I'm going to go with Minnesota. I'm going with the favorites, the #1 seed, but also, we're talking about pressure. Maybe no more team has more pressure on them than Minnesota because of what they did last year and how things ended. A great regular season doesn't necessarily avenge what happened last year, Ari, but it certainly simplifies the path forward for Cheryl Reeve and her squad. I like to look back kind of as the Lynx try to channel that 2017 team that Cheryl had. We'll remember in the 2016 season, this team lost a decisive Game 5 by 1 point to the Sparks. A very similar ending. 2017. Yep, that 2017 season, they did avenge it and they went all the way to win it. So I think there's a little bit of context there, and Cheryl can maybe pull from some experience because she has a lot of it.
I love a historical moment. The odd years are really in their favor. 11, 13, 15, 17. Cheryl
Something
Reeve's
there.
absolutely going to want to continue this legacy that is the Minnesota Lynx. This is a new wave under Nafisa Collier, who has a 50-40-90 season that's historic in its own right. And let me tell you the confidence going into the playoffs. Literally the last game when they were up like that, she only needed 2 threes to complete that 50-40-90, and she took 2 additional ones after that. That is the confidence knowing that you are the rock of that team going into playoffs. Look, the Minnesota Lynx, I am never going to root against. I'm never going to sleep on because
Count out
because they're just so. Cheryl Reeve knows how to build a team brick by brick. She knows how to take the pieces that aren't the most flashy pieces but make them great. Alana Smith, running, she's in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. You have Dejanay Carrington adding on top of that. They're the #1 defensive team. But then you have on offense Kayla McBride, who just a great 3-point shooter. You have Nafisa Collier, who cannot be stopped. You have Courtney Williams, best mid-range shooter. There's just so many pieces to this Minnesota Lynx team that can make anybody who's searching very, very confident that they'll make it far. And they have proved it since day one.
Isn't fashion also just about putting pieces together to make like a piece kind of work?
Oh, is she layering? Oh my
Layering.
God. But clearly, is it? Because our producer thought that I was wearing a blanket today.
To be fair, I mean,
I thought my skirt was cute, Sam. I thought my skirt was cute.
I think the shirt is pretty dope, though.
Okay, well, shout out Player Society anyway.
By the way, so you were at New York Fashion
I
Week.
was.
You boots on the ground there, getting in the weeds. We also had the House of ESPN. First off, how was the experience? I mean, that's got to be pretty sweet.
ESPN and Project Runway came together to make a beautiful display of a reunion for people. Sierra co-hosted with me. It's been fun. There was a runway. Shout out to Monty Brooks, who is a stylist of the stars in the sports space. There were just so many opportunities for you to get your fits off, meet your favorite players, celebrate the fashions that are within the WNBA. And when it wasn't nighttime and us celebrating, we had players on the ground for different shows, mascots included,
Of course,
Ellie and Mary J. Blige. I don't
center.
know if you know, but Ellie had just done a Mary J. Blige performance in Barclays, so this real life moment was so potent. Like, I loved it. But then you had Saniya Rivers and Marina Mabry, who pulled up to House of ESPN, coordinated. They've been really stepping lately. Saniya actually told me that she's gathering Marina and making sure that Marina looks like great and knows how to layer. Because Marina says, I don't know how to put these pieces together, but thank God she has Saniya right by her side. But the players are stepping out. Player fashion is more prominent than ever before. The tunnel fits are things that people look forward to consuming every single game. So I was just really proud. Oh my gosh, this is so dramatic.
Look at that.
But look, the red jumpsuit was amazing because VJ from Project Runway was able to make that in 5 hours from sketch to fit.
No
we have
way.
Taya Cooper, but from sketch to fit was 5 hours, and then that's not an easy task. Olivia Nelson-Adeda is constantly one of the best dressed athletes here. She has her own clothing line. It's just beautiful. Tina Charles, we know she's styled by Courtney Mays, who was also present at House of ESPN. And then, friends together. Lauren Chan making history, Sports Illustrated model. It was just a beautiful culmination of people, and the players really are bought into integrating their world with the fashion world and just their fashion girlies, period.
A lot of great outfits there.
Yeah.
Who was the MVP for you?
MVP.
If you had to pick an MVP, like who?
For the season or for Fashion Week?
For Fashion Week, yeah.
For Fashion Week,
Yeah.
MVP has got to be Saniya Rivers. She's really experimenting with her personal style, experimenting with layers. I love a tie moment. I've been in my tie era. She too is in her tie era. But the thing is, she's masculine presenting, but also blends a beautiful array of femininity within it, and just is really learning how to express herself. But Skylar Diggins, for me, in the season, she has won the season. We want to talk about not being afraid to experiment.
Right.
She's been great all season, just giving us a variety of fits. And structure is her thing. You always see her with a structured shoulder, and it doesn't drown her, it doesn't overwhelm her shape. It's just a good fit. She's not afraid to mix prints and patterns, and that's very hard to do, especially when you don't come from a fashion background knowing that anchor pieces are necessary. But she works with different stylists who really bring the best out of her. And as much personality as she has on the court, she has in the tunnel as well. So I've been enjoying Skylar Diggins.
Look, there's a lot of thought that goes into this, and Ari, we've been doing this for a couple of years now. What do you think my fits are? I mean, I could use some work. I could use some work.
And we got to swag you out a little bit.
I'm aware of that,
maybe lean into street style a little bit. I understand the dad fit. Shout out to you,
Dad.
You're a dad.
I gotta get the New Balance shoes out, man. We're in my dad era now.
New Balances are very much in.
Okay.
They're very much in, but we can get rid of the color.
Oh, look, it is playoffs, so we can. I mean, we are ready to rock and roll here.
Nafisa has told me that she is really trying to improve her style, and it's working. And she's always in a search for elevation over time, right? She's always one to want to make herself better on and off the court, and we see the style just improving off the court.
Yeah.
Then Dejanay Carrington is interesting to me because she doesn't have a stylist. She picks whatever she wants from her closet and mixes and matches, and she does a great job of it as well. Always has coffee in her hand. Honestly, she's just like me for real.
Yeah.
But Dejanay is our favorite Barbie, you know?
Look good, feel good, play good, right? I mean, it's that time of year for the playoffs, so great to see everything, and also great work at Fashion Week. It was fun to watch on the socials too, Ari, to see everything that was going on.
I mean, I'm glad that the players were able to be comfortable, and ESPN provided a house for us to get those fits off.
Very good, very good. All right, back to some of the on-the-court stuff here. We've determined kind of what each team needs to do in order to win. Let's identify kind of an X factor for each team now in the 4 series that we do have. Lynx versus the Valkyries. Ari, I'll hand it off to you. X factor in this series.
For the Minnesota Lynx, I have Natisha Heidemann. Natisha is, Cheryl Reeves said it herself, she's able to come in and be the spark that they need if her teammates are lagging. She comes off the bench with such pride and still is a very talented and capable point guard, just being able to facilitate, knowing her team very well, and she has a great outside shot. So she's my X factor for the Lynx.
I'm going to give 2 X factors for the #1 seed here. I will go with the Target Center because I think that is an inherent X factor, right?
Wigs and all, Sam, wigs and all.
We know they're going to come out to party, and also K-Mac. No, aside from her scoring.
X factor, Sam, she's an all-star. Be so for real.
Aside from her scoring, which we know she can do, back-to-back seasons of 100 made threes. It's more than that. It's her facilitating. That's what I'm trying to get to, Art. 57% effective field goal percentage off of passes from Kayla McBride this year. That is the best in the league. So, in essence, when she passes you the ball, you're likely scoring on Minnesota. Like, that's how good her vision on the court is. That's how important she is to this team. So if she can continue to score as well as facilitate and set her teammates up for success, that's my X factor for Minnesota.
I agree. I agree with you, Sam.
You didn't agree with me to start.
Because I thought that was the easy answer, right? I thought it was like an all-star.
It could be considered that,
and it's so interesting how good she is at facilitation. I was talking to her last week. She was saying, like, in Notre Dame, I didn't do any of this. I didn't even have a range for real. So for her to go from that forward position securely to grow into the guard that she is today has been an interesting journey, a beautiful journey for her.
Veronica Burton's an incredible story, too, for Golden State. She's averaging career highs across the board. She might be an X factor as well for this team.
Yeah, I mean, Veronica Burton is a great defensive specialist. She's known for her defense and has a case for most improved player this year. But I think that in general, Golden State's overall defense is going to be an X factor. Natalie Nikase is going to be able to throw anything their way. She's a defensive-minded coach. And honestly, Sam, actually, as this is coming to me, Cecilia Zanolacini, she played for the Lynx initially, and now she has a chance to light them up. She's a known shooter, an international superstar, and she can really help this Valkyries team.
It's always the storylines. They're always intertwined, playoff X factors between the Valkyries and the Lynx. All right, we move along. We'll go Aces and Storm here. I'll start us off with Las Vegas. I think Jewel Lloyd is an X factor, even though we have kind of seen her find her stride, more importantly, find her role on this team. It's not easy to accept what she was able to accept, which is coming off the bench after being a starter in this league for so long. We see it across professional sports athletes sometimes don't handle it incredibly well, and I don't blame them. Jewel has handled it really, really well. Her minutes per game might be down. Her scoring per game is up. Not only does that speak to the player that she is, Ari, but I think it also speaks to the culture that's set there and how she was able to fit in.
Jewel knows her role and she plays it well. She was actually the one to tell Becky Hammon that she wanted to come off the bench. And so just knowing that place that she needs, she is an X factor for them and has that emotional tie playing her former team.
How about Seattle too with Nneka?
Yeah, so Nneka Ogwumike, I wouldn't consider her an X factor because she's the rock of that team. I have Erica Wheeler. She should absolutely be considered in that headed monster. So yeah, she showed up in the last game like we talked about earlier.
Okay, we'll move along. Dream and the Fever. The Atlanta Dream is one of your favorite teams this year, and I know why. You have a lot of friends on that team. Mm-hmm. Tell me exactly why Atlanta has kind of a leg up in this series, but also an X factor on this team.
Yeah, so Atlanta has all the pieces. Like I've said before, they've added Brittany Griner and Brianna Jones, but Jordan Canada can go off for 25 at any given time. She has a great eye for the court. Great point guard. This is the point guard that Ryan Howard wanted on her team and is capable now of making high numbers, especially under Carl Smethko's system of driving or three-point shooting.
All right, on to the Mercury and the Liberty. Mercury have been an incredibly interesting team to watch all year long. Their three-point shooting has been clearly an evident reason why they were able to get so far. And obviously the New York Liberty on the other side, lying in the weeds, the reigning champs. Give me an X factor. I'll give you an X factor on either side here. You can pick.
Well, you just set me up for the win, Sam. The Sabally sisters in general. Niara Sabally is just a big body that can really compensate for when the bigs are in trouble. She's coverage for JJ. She's coverage for any big who might be in foul trouble, right? She has a strong body. And then Satu Sabally, they call her the uniform for a reason,
I got
right? So she's back healthy, and we see what she is capable of offense-wise.
Biggest X factor for me in this entire series, I think, is the Liberty's defense. And how are you going to slow down AT? You're not going to stop her. Mm-hmm. Slow down is kind of the operative word here, because during the regular season, she averaged 17, 11, and 10 assists per game in the head-to-head matchups. That's triple-double right there. So they've got to be able to figure out a way to slow her down, because as she really is the X factor for this team. If they're going to win, she needs to be doing what she does.
You know, New York has allowed Phoenix to get them out of whack in the past, right? 17, I think, turnovers. If they don't stop them in transition, they're doomed. New York is going to have to not let Phoenix come down the court like a bulldozer.
Right.
That just is what it is. We call Alyssa Thomas the engine for a reason, right? She can bulldoze anybody. You have got to get ahead of it. You have got to stop at half court so they cannot just take it to the hoop. You just got it.
All right, so those are some of the X factors, some of the key components to each of the matchups. Again, a full 4-game slate coming up on the ESPN family of networks. We will wrap up our show here, the wrap-up, with taking a look at one thing we're kind of most excited about here in this WNBA playoff season. Ari, I will start. I mentioned it at the top of the show. We have a potential for a 7-game series in the WNBA finals this year. Obviously, it's exciting because I think just to be able to say Game 7 in any sort of professional sports league is really cool. It's always exciting, Game 7, we all know it. But I think on a macro level, it just shows us that people want more women's basketball. They want to watch more of the WNBA. The expansion, I think, shows that from the teams. So there's so much excitement around this WNBA playoffs, and I kind of hope that we do get a Game 7.
You know what I'm looking forward to?
Tell me. 7
games of players fully healthy.
Yeah.
We're going into the playoffs in better health for most teams. And so to see these teams set out and fulfill the things that they wanted to fulfill with putting the roster construction together, that's what I'm looking forward to. So not only these sold-out arenas, not only these 7 games in the final series, but how about some player health in the building? Good knees, good Achilles. Let's get it.
Good backs. Yeah, we know. We got to make sure that we are healthy. Everything. The health is really important as we go along in this WNBA playoffs race. And this has been an amazing regular season. It was the longest regular season in the history of the league. It all culminates to this. It sets up what is going to be truly an amazing, amazing couple of weeks down the stretch. The best part for all of you that are watching at home, we have got you covered throughout the entire playoff series and including into the WNBA Finals. Ari and I will be with you throughout. So make sure that you come right back every single series because we'll be here recapping what we saw and also predicting a little bit what to come in the future. Thank you so much for watching WNBA Hoop Streams presented by Google. For Ari Chambers and our entire crew, I'm Sam Ravech saying so long. Enjoy the games today, everybody.